We're live.
Just like that.
Live and classy.
We're redoing episode 1.
Yep.
We're all together here.
Yep.
Hi, John.
Hey.
Hey, Kurt.
Hey, buddy.
So,
Hey,
yeah.
Kurt.
Yeah, we're redoing episode 1 mainly because we got pretty loaded the first time, and
It was awesome. I really enjoyed myself.
it was a good time. But it's probably not necessarily the most family-friendly
No.
version.
No, I could probably agree with that statement.
Because any of it is.
Well, I guess.
Matthew
But-
says he'll have it on at the range.
Yeah.
Hopefully no children around, or hopefully he's got his
Oh, my.
earphones out, or earbuds in.
Well, we'll keep it as few C-bombs as possible out of this.
My goal is to not use one. Unlike the first episode that we recorded. We've
Well,
taken that down off the interwebs, haven't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yes, that's how bad it was.
Well, listen, there's nothing wrong with some passion. It's just gotta be regulated a little bit.
That's right.
That's right.
But we figured we had some good content on that. And,
We did.
you know, with the Scout Rifle in the present form,
Yeah.
we figured we'd touch base and kind of show the book and
Closer.
who was watching.
There we go. The Scout Rifle
Study
Study.
Oh,
by
right.
Richard Mann.
The man among.
Well, he's a man for sure. Well,
You're not wrong.
I identify him as a man.
Yeah.
He may not identify as a man.
I identify as the Apache attack helicopter.
Mm.
Oh my goodness.
Pretty sure I'm 85% potato.
If you're a potato, what am I?
Rutabaga?
A sweet potato. Yeah. But no, we figured we'd touch base in the Scout Rifle study. This is going to be kind of off the cuff. We don't really have show notes or anything like that. I mean, we could, but we chose not to. So,
Yeah,
amateur hour with gunning around.
that's right.
Well, what better way to spend a cold Saturday where going to the range?
Really
we're
not
just-
terribly cold though. It's only like minus 16.
Yeah.
Well, it's a little colder up here for some reason. It was minus 20, minus 24, I think, this morning. And I was thinking about going to the range. And then I got up and went, coffee looks much better.
You're not.
And the weights downstairs are oddly more inviting than the range this morning.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah,
Yep.
funny how that is.
It is kind of funny.
Oh, I need a cigarette.
So where do we begin?
Well, introductions, I suppose, as per usual. Yeah.
Yeah. Who the hell are you?
I'm Kurt. I have nothing at all prepared for this show. I live in central Saskatchewan. I work in the construction management. I'm one of those dicks that tells you how to do stuff and that you've done it wrong and all that kind of thing. I've served my time as the lackey in the field, and now my body hates me for it because I sit in a chair all day long. Well, not every day, but you get the picture. I'm a hunter when I can be, a hand loader a lot, long range precision junkie. Yeah, I don't know, aspiring to be many things that I am not. It's a fun pursuit, really.
Nice.
I want to be like you guys.
Don't set your sights too high, Kurt.
That's why I'm starting with you guys.
Who the hell are you?
Well, I'm John, and that's a lazy, easy Saturday. As you can tell, I'm still wearing my AC/DC pajama
Oh
bottoms.
my goodness.
ACDC coming at you.
Going at you.
Rocket
And my,
99.
and my Canadian Gun Vault shirt,
Shout out to Mark.
Morello in the back. I'm not sure if you can see that or not.
Oh, get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn.
Ah, nice.
That's a great movie.
It is a great movie. Oh,
You know what movie we're talking about, Kurt?
Gran Torino.
Yes,
Pretty
I do.
sure.
Yenzi's on right now too, and that's one of his absolute favorite shows and sayings. Get off my lawn.
Fun story.
Off my lawn.
Clint Eastwood in that movie is my dad.
Not literally.
That's great.
Although his mom might have stepped out on your dad with Clint Eastwood.
I'd step out on my dad. From
Whoa.
Anyways,
yeah, I do stuff with things and the guns and stuff. Oh yeah, M14 Medic Firearms. I do that too.
we're in the shop right now.
Well, technically, we're in my wife's car hold bay.
Yeah.
Pulled the car out, set up the stuff.
Yeah.
Technically.
Good story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I guess I could
You
read.
get your helper in the shop there. It sounds
CCFR Field Officer, Vice President of the local gun club, Project Maple Seed IT, firearms business owner, shameless plug, or M40 Medic Firearms, sport shooter, hunter, and a certifiable rifle loony.
do that again just a little bit faster. No. Jokes, man.
Nice. Well, I'm
What about
Sean. Yeah. What about me?
Mm-hmm.
What about me? Are we gonna go there? No, let's not go there.
To be or not to be?
That is the question.
Am I or am I not?
This is getting way too intense right now.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm Sean. I am CCFR provincial coordinator. What else am I? I work in the ag sector, fixing shit. What else am I? Director, Regina Fishing Game League. Regina Fishing Game League shirt.
Even says
director. That means I'm legit.
Shirt model.
Bonafide.
Yeah, lover of all things going kaboom, kablooey, if you will.
Kerplosion.
Look at my gray hair. Holy mackerel.
Oh, boo freaking
Oh, we'd love to hear your feedback about the show. Please visit us at Facebook gunningaround.com and also leave a review or info at gunningaround.com if you want to send us an email, or the website gunningaround.com.
Yeah, or check us out, info at gunning, or send us feedback that way, info at gunningaround.com, Sean at gunningaround.com, John at gunningaround.com, Rooster at gunningaround.com. Right? I think that's yours.
Yes, sir. Got her. Covered it all.
You send us an email, we will read it on the show.
Yep.
So if you cannot give us feedback, how can we improve?
Yeah.
I'm not even looking at show notes.
Really?
Pull that off.
I've got the show notes right here on my tablet
Ooh.
because that's how I roll.
Look at you, high-tech redneck.
Because I actually have to look and read, or else I forget. Speaking of forgetting,
Jens just dropped in.
Yeah, I made a huge mistake today, or I realized I might have made a huge mistake today. A couple things. I decided to clean up a little bit on the bench instead of actually working today.
Looks good.
Wah, wah, wah.
And one, I justified my hoarding lifestyle by reusing a whole bunch of those plastic shell holders that come in factory ammo.
Yeah.
I reused a bunch of those.
You mean the shit you dump the cartridges out and then throw in the garbage?
Yeah, only I don't throw that away. I keep that. So then I found a use for that on my bench. Now I just got to figure out what I'm going to do with the other 300 of them I have. And then I started, once I got my workbench kind of cleaned up, I started working, tidying up the loading bench a little bit. And that's where I discovered that I left my RCBS powder measure load machine. What the heck's it called?
Automatic powder dispenser?
There we go. I left it with a load of gunpowder in there. There's probably a quarter pound of gunpowder still in the hopper.
Oh, rookie.
And I'm like, I'm going to go out on a limb here and guess that is supposed to be inside the 1 pound container that is currently on the bench that says Varget. And it looks like Varget, but then if you know what Varget looks like, you also know what H4895 looks like, or what H4831 looks like, or whenever pick an H powder, it looks the same. So anyways, I was like, you know what? It's likely Varget. And I remembered, what was the last time I was loading on this bench? I was loading 308 for the Scout Rifle.
Ooh.
Some 150 grain BT SPs, Hornadies. But why is there a box that's half used of 180 BT SPs on the counter? And I'm like, uh-oh. I might have grabbed the wrong box of bullets when I was loading 150s and stuffed a bunch of 180s on top of a 150 grain load. That's already well over established book maximum. God damn it! I gotta go find that box of bullets now.
So you want to talk about that for a second, like differences between powders. So if you do get some a little bit mixed up, or you've transferred some or something like that, and didn't have the presence of mind to label at the time, like you say, Varget and 4350 and 4831 look very similar. And if you want to try your luck just to see what happens once or twice, what's the better way to go? Is it like loading?
I'm going to say the better way to go is to not to. But anyways, go on.
Okay. Disclaimer here, folks at home. Would it be better to test the powder out in a small cartridge like 223 that normally takes it digests Varget very, very well?
Yeah.
And it, the chance that it could be like a slower burning powder like 4350 or 4831, what is that going to do at a normal Varget charge weight in 223, as opposed to even 308 does extremely well with Varget, but doing the same thing in a 308, a larger cartridge, risking there being, I guess it's not much of a risk in 308, like with a faster powder, like
powder
Varget.
in that case,
right.
I would say that your best bet is to consult your load manual and see what the load data is for those three types of powder that it could be for that cartridge, and find a cartridge that uses all three types of powder.
Yeah, but that still won't help you, I guess, determine which powder it.
Well, it might if you kind of reverse engineer it. You pick the one
I suppose
that has the lowest powder charge. You load 5 rounds in that lower powder charge into the case, stuff a bullet in there, take it to the range, and crony it, and then that might give you some idea of what it is. Personally, myself, if I had, say, 2 cans of powder on the bench, like in this particular situation, where that Varget's been, I'm 99.99999% sure it's Varget, because that's the pound that was on the bench. Because I only ever have 1 pound on the bench when there's powder on the hopper, right?
Yeah.
So I'm fairly certain that the powder that was in the hopper is Varget. So if I was, and I've done this before in the past, where I've been loading 2 or 3 different cartridges one after the other, and I wind up going, oh crap, what's in this dish, for a lack of a better term? What kind of powder is this? It could be Varget, it could be Benchmark, it could be 4831, it could be, I don't know which one it is. Into the garbage. Yeah. Because it's not worth saving $20
to have a gun blow
up in your face, or to drastically overpressure around or something like that, in my mind anyway.
So I guess a slower powder then would be optimal in a cartridge case. Really would just be lethargic. You wouldn't experience an early pressure spike like with a faster powder in a cartridge more suitable for slow powder, say a 300 mag, right? Use Varget in 300 mag, and you'll get that early pressure spike. Your pressure curve is going to be a whole lot different.
Yeah, why can't you?
Well, that's good. 300 mag.
I don't know what the recipe is.
Pick something faster then. You know where I'm going.
Yeah.
I know it's a dumb conversation, but
no. I just it's an interesting mental exercise, if that makes any sense.
Yep.
If that ever happens to you.
Yeah, you betcha.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, if like in this particular situation, like I've been here before because I'm fucking sloppy. But
well, John, I don't imagine you're the only one. That's
but if I was to do that, that would be it. I'd be like, okay, that's not a good thing. I'm out, right? Certainly. Toss it. It's not worth it. But now, I've been on those binge loading sessions where you go through 8 or 9 pounds of 48.95 or something like that, because you're volume loading a metric piton of 308 for the service rifle or something, and those kind of situations, it's never very hard to figure out what's going on. But in this particular situation, I think I'm going to have to go back, and I'm going to have to figure this out, because I don't know if I stuffed 180s on top of that 150 powder charge, so which could be kind of not cool.
Yeah.
honestly. So,
Well,
where were we?
we kind of went on a tangent there.
Oh, what are you drinking, Kurt?
Well, since it's early afternoon.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, you have a Tim Hortons cup.
Tim Hortons.
What type of rum do you have in that cup?
that's right.
I don't. You know what? It's Kicking Horse coffee. That's what I
Nice.
started out with this morning, early morning, and I've drunk enough of it. And combined with my workout this morning, I'm shaking like a leaf.
Nice.
Yeah. No, lets me know I'm alive. You guys?
What are you drinking?
I'm onto the just regular Coca-Cola in a red can because I'm not on a diet, and I'm okay that I'm fat. And I don't mind being a little fatter because my pants still fit. And I've already consumed 3 pots of coffee today, so I figure I better stick to something, a little bit more sugary.
Nice.
Oh, and
He's
the wavy
really
lays as well, for when I get peckish later.
Those are those breakfast lays.
breakfast.
Yeah, they're the wavy.
Is there any other type?
That's the wavy type.
Yes, right. It's nachos in the evening, right?
Yeah, no, I'm not drinking nothing. In fact, I'm kind of giving up the coffee / Monster / all that shit. So I just crushed a drink of pre-workout for energy. so
that you can sit in a chair?
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice. Right, I was going to say.
Pre-workout. Woo, these are some heavy curls.
You guys were giving me shit about buying all those supplements and stuff. Trying not to be a fat guy anymore. So there's that.
Yeah.
So, but right now, I'm not drinking nothing.
Yeah.
That's right. Got to make a change. Got to start somewhere, right?
That's right.
So,
absolutely.
But we figured we would revisit this episode 1. A, because we had some good content in there, but B, well, that's about it.
Yeah.
We figured we got a Scout rifle here. We're Gunsight Scout. This is John's personal rifle.
Yep. 16-inch barrel.
Yeah.
Love that thing.
Extended eye relief scope. Vortex, what is that? 2-7?
2-7 Diamondback.
32.
A Diamondback 2-7.
Yep.
It's
but this is the epitome of.
It's unloaded. Orange chamber flag. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
One thing I really like about this. One thing I really don't like about this rifle is the magazines.
Yeah.
I wish they'd have used M14 mags or something like that, as opposed to AI mags. But that's not a deal killer, obviously.
Why exactly is that, John? Just simply because you have a lot more M14 mags, or is it a nostalgia thing?
You're familiar with AI mags, right? Like everybody that's got
not single stack, but single feed.
Yeah. So it sticks out of there. It's Donkey Kong long, right?
Yeah.
And the whole purpose of a
bless you.
Wow. Well,
holy mackerel.
Wow.
Genuine.
Sorry.
We are live.
I should have hit the mute button on that one.
Kinda, yeah.
But the whole purpose of a Scout is to carry it, right? And the natural point of balance on this rifle is not right in front of the mag.
No, with how it should be.
It's in the middle of the magazine. Like that's where the natural.
It's not really natural if you're doing that.
This is not natural. Anyways,
jeez.
I don't know.
So when did you guys start drinking today?
I like the idea of a forward mounted optic on it as opposed to a standard location optic over top of the receiver.
Like my Mossberg.
Yeah, I don't really. Dad's actually got the 18.5. This is a 16-inch, but Dad's got an 18.5, and Dad wanted a scope in the standard location, and Dad likes it. He likes it there, but I really like that forward optic on it. I've had this out at your range there, Kurt, and I was smacking the paddles at 400 with this thing. With that extended eye relief scope, it works. You know what I mean? There's no doubt in that. So
it's nice, man. It shoulders nice and it points nice, swings nice. It's just
and then got some of these PMags. This is thanks a lot, Jens. You maybe spent hundreds of dollars on magazines.
He's good that way, isn't he?
He is, yeah. Oh, look, try that. I got this new whiz bag. You should try it. You're like, damn it.
Yeah.
But the 5-rounders seem to fit just a little bit nicer into the action than if as opposed to having this thing sticking out of the bottom, right? So I like the idea of the Scout rifle.
Well, and if you're carrying it around, like, well, let's back up. So, what is a Scout rifle?
I was just gonna say, what constitutes a Scout
Well,
rifle?
let's consult the manual,
The Bible, if
the
you will.
Bible. So this is one of Jeff Cooper's babies, I guess you could say. Back in the
Who's Jeff Cooper for the uneducated? The Colonel.
I know who he is.
Go ahead, Kurt.
Yeah, go.
I don't know enough to like you to keep up to you, but I'm familiar with who he is for sure.
You know, the first time I recorded this, I had like tabs in this book so I could find the right places.
You were actually prepared.
The Scout rifle is an enigma, but to many, it's an abomination. Used by those stuck in the 20th, if not the 19th century, to others, it's a cult-like religion in which there exist grand poobahs who repeat the words of Jeff Cooper's gospel and worship at an altar of mythical rifle that's never existed. For many more, in fact, the Scout rifle is simply something they do not understand, a perplexing, puzzling oddity, or a survival-like implement sitting in the corner of some prepper's basement. So that's from the introduction.
Created by Colonel Jeff Cooper, who, based on Wikipedia, was a United States Marine, the creator of the modern technique of handgun shooting, and an expert on the use of history of small arms. So he founded the Gunsight Academy in Arizona, I believe, and basically pioneered the use of training to civilians to be more proficient in firearms. So more so the Weaver stance, what else? Sight picture, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
He basically started the revolution, if you will, for that. So he created this platform, the Scout rifle, to be the rifleman's rifle.
Pretty
right?
much, yeah.
Pretty much. So he had a few characteristics of this rifle to call it a Scout rifle, which we're kind of going to get to here if John can find it.
Well, going back to apparently the 80s, 1983, he invited a bunch of people to Gunsight to discuss the idea of a Scout rifle and what that should be. And he had several different conferences, 83, 84, 89, 1990, 1994, and then in 1998. And then he was unsuccessful finding an American manufacturer that would produce a rifle to the specifications that they laid out in these conferences.
What specifications are you talking about?
So weight was 3 kilos or 6.6 pounds. Length was to be 1 meter at 39.4 inches. Had to be chambered in 308. A bolt action. 10-shot 6-inch groups at 300 meters at around 2 MOA, or capable of that. A barrel of 19 inches is optimum without barrel expansion, flash, suppressor, or muzzle brake. A non-reflective finish. Sights had to be a ghost ring rear, ramped square front post. Optics, a 10-inch eye relief scope with crosshairs mounted as low as possible. There was no trigger mentioned. And the stock should be a classic straight stock without cheek piece or Monte Carlo step down. Glass bedded, wood or synthetic with rounded heel. A shooting sling, sling swivels, and then accessories. They had this idea that a magazine cutoff with protection for bullet tips, flush mounted, retractable bipods, and another means of storing additional ammunition in the rifle's butt or stock.
So the main prototype that was developed on this, not prototype, production rifle, was the Steyr Scout.
And it was the first Scout rifle that met Jeff Cooper's
first
approval.
and only, right? That was the only one he actually put his name behind.
Yeah, like technically this rifle doesn't meet the definition because the barrel's too long and the magazines are shitty. The 18.5 model by Ruger is the same thing. It's the magazine and the barrel length. They weren't right. But they did. I'm not even sure what this one weighs, but I would imagine it doesn't make weight either.
No. So
in 1998, so that they had several different conferences, several different meetings talking about the Scout rifle. In the end, Jeff Cooper, from his personal papers, according to the book here, The most important thing about the Scout is that it's a general purpose rifle. Its most outstanding characteristic is its handiness. It is light, compact, and friendly. It'll put them where you point them from arm's length out to a range too great for any sensible to attempt. The essential characteristics of the Scout rifle are compactness and what might be called shootability. It's easy to carry, convenient to pack into a boat, car, or airplane, powerful enough for any target short of pachyderms, that's elephants for those that don't know what that is, and easily provisioned throughout the world. It is ideally adapted to the snapshot and quite able to group well into the vital zone of a 200-pound target from target out to around 400 paces under field conditions. That was what he finally settled on. But in 94, he raised the weight to 3.5 kilos, and 1 meter was still the thing. He also changed his ideas on the chamberings. He figured a 308 or a 7mm where a military round is not permitted. So there's some countries where you can't have a 308 or a 7.62 by 51. A short action to keep down the weight, available on both left and right hands, with a smooth bolt knob. Barrel is still supposed to be around 19 inches. Accuracy was not mentioned, nor was the finish, but the sights were still supposed to have auxiliary iron ring with ghost ring, iron sights with a ghost ring, and a fixed low power scope on the front, before ahead of the action, right?
So with all that aside, that's sort of morphed nowadays into a compact rifle in 308 with a detachable magazine, bolt action, and essentially a forward face or a fixed extended eye relief scope. Yeah, that's pretty much and a sling swivels on it, right? So that's essentially it now. But there's multiple options out there, and it's kind of pick your poison nowadays. But
so does not Scout. Sorry, Kurt, what was that?
Well, am I still quiet, you guys?
No, you're good.
Your volume is good on the stream. It's because the speakers on the computer are so far away.
Yeah,
I gotcha. So a short-barreled M1A or M14, M305.
Discarded a semi-automatic right off the hop. That was never in contention.
Okay.
I've often
originally. Okay, so is it prudent to do a then and now? When was that book written? When did Cooper?
The book was written actually
over the course of years.
I actually got into the Scout Rifle Study book. He published the chapters online as he was writing them over the course of several years.
Okay.
And then in 2018, the book was done. And so he took down the chapters off the internet and was selling the book. So I actually bought the book after reading everything online. And
the book is still available on Amazon.
Yeah,
I think the price is $55 or $60 now.
Yeah, I think I paid $20 for it.
Yeah.
So. But I guess early adoption is key. That's with most things.
Okay, but originally back when this whole Scout rifle thing started, when would that have been?
Well, his first conference was 1983.
Okay.
And he's the one, and he wrote an article, I think it was in Gun Digest magazine, about his idea of what a perfect rifleman's rifle would be.
Mm-hmm.
So that'd be like the one gun you need.
Right.
The rest are all, superfluous.
The one you go to throw in the back of your truck if you're going to go out on the range or ranging, if you will.
Yeah.
The GTFO gun.
Yeah, or just the all-purpose kind of your go-to grab.
Yeah.
For shit hit the fan kind of thing.
And, or just I only need one rifle.
Yeah.
Right.
Like my take on it would be perfect for farmers, right? You find that fox or that coyote that's coming after your chickens or your livestock, you're gonna grab that gun and go.
Right? Or those hogs that are everywhere around in Saskatchewan now.
Yeah, wild hogs or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And, or it could potentially be used, not necessarily in Canada due to our laws, but it could potentially be used for intruders on your property, that sort of thing. Because you can use it for short range, you can use it for long range, longish range. It's generally meant to hit a torso-sized target within 400 yards. Yeah. Right, that's kind of the go-to.
And that's you know this too, Kurt. But that's not that difficult, really.
No.
when you're talking about a modernly produced bolt action rifle,
and when you're reasonably practiced rifle,
yeah,
right?
well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But that's not that hard. It's not really all that terribly difficult.
No.
So I don't know.
It's always intrigued me because I thought, what's the one gun that I want to get that, I'm going to grab and just go, right? And I always thought, well, I'm going to grab my M14, or if ARs were non-restricted, I grab an AR. But then doing your research, the more he wrote about it, the more you read about it, the more this intrigued me personally. And that's why I thought our first episode would be perfect for the Scout Rifle, because that's essentially what got me into guns outside of my father shooting. Was like, hey, what's the one gun I can get for best bang for my buck, so I can go plank or whatever, do hunt or whatever the fuck I want to do, right? And
It reminds me, my first centerfire rifle was an old 760 Remington, and that pump Remington, and I mean, you had to be a little bit careful with it. I think the same as any pump action firearm, that you're not short stroking and stuff like that. But I'm telling you, that was a handy rifle, and that thing killed until I got a better wage and all that kind of stuff with work. That thing killed everything that God could kill. It felt like, and it was the only rifle I had for coyote hunting. I used to hunt coyotes like a crazy man. And deer, moose, elk, everything. It was great, handy like crazy. I wouldn't spend a whole lot of money on it, but I'd like to just, I think for nostalgia, put a long eye relief scope on that thing and mess around with it just cause.
Well, it's funny.
But
that's
reliability, that versus a bolt action, though.
Well, and that was one thing that Jeff Cooper brought up fairly early on, was that he found it was exceedingly difficult to put a forward optic on a standard sporter barrel, right? Because the only way you could do that was to drill and tap holes in the barrel.
Yeah.
And with the there's a lot of vibration that happens in that barrel when a bullet's fired. And he found that you were only getting 150 to 200 rounds down a barrel before your scope base shot loose, basically, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, and that was one thing he discovered fairly early on, that when you were building a Scout rifle, it necessitated putting on a special kind of mount, like those European mounts where they have that double claw, that's where the rings are part of the barrel and the action. Something like that was the only thing that would really work. And you're looking at big dollars for something like that to be fitted to a rifle. Sure. He tried replacing dovetails with like cutting dovetails in and putting like a dovetail base in the front and using the rear ring. And there's some pretty funky pictures of some stuff that was tried. Using the forward ring mount hole, and that's where you have your straight tube on the back side or something like that, or double rings in the front so that the back could be free floated or whatever you want to call it, like double ring up here to hold the scope in place, and a lot of weird things like that. But it wasn't, unless the manufacturer has this in mind, or the gunsmith who's rebarreling your rifle has it in mind to do that, it's very difficult to do that. Yeah. So, one thing I'd like to do is I'd like to eventually purpose build a Scout rifle in what I would consider closer to what Jeff Cooper's idea was. And that would be probably something on a Remington 700 because of aftermarket support. Yeah. With a factory Remington detachable magazine, not one of those quick clips, but one of the ones with the double tabs on the sides, because they sit flush to the bottom of the stock. I'd probably build it in a 308 as well. And then, I've got that 16-inch Remington 700 in the basement in the lockup that needs to get redone because it's a steaming pile. It's got a shitty trigger that sometimes the trigger goes off when you close the bolt, which is not cool. Things like that. It's not very accurate. I think I spun it up with the lathe the one day, and the center of the bore is about 25 thou out of round from the outside of the barrel. It's just not cool, right?
Yeah.
So it's probably not worth doing on that one, because I'm pretty sure that by the time a guy strips everything off that action, a guy's going to spend more money truing up the action than anything else. But that's
well, you know what though, for the accuracy you're looking for, and for a low cost option, your ID to OD doesn't matter as long as that bore is straight. So yeah, I know it bugs you in that, but and the thing about your trigger falling when you close the bolt, that's simple sear engagement, and it should be
as simple as driving out 2 pins and putting something else in, right?
For sure.
Fix that problem.
Yep, you bet. Yeah, true enough.
Really?
Yep, for sure. So I mean, you could have a pretty low cost option there. Especially given that it's a gun that sits anyway. Straight,
I'd probably be more inclined to.
Oh, and it doesn't?
No.
Oh.
No. If the rifle shot
could have stopped me,
that would be like half the battle, right there.
I gotcha. like what? How inaccurate is it?
Well, I've had it out to your place, and you made fun of me. So
more than likely, but that man, that is a long list.
You'd be more specific, John.
Nice. I remember you were up on the deck and I was on the ground shooting with the sling in prone.
Yeah.
And I was having trouble running the bolt, so I kind of lifted up on the one shoulder to get this elbow off the ground so I get more leverage on the bolt.
Yeah, yeah.
And as I closed the bolt, it went off, and I'm pretty sure the barrel was downrange.
Yeah.
But it was about a 30-degree inclination when the round was loosed.
So you're at 1,000 meters.
Yeah, exactly. So I was just like, oh shit. And you looked at me and go, it went off when I closed the bolt. So
that was funny.
But yeah.
Anyway.
Okay.
Back to topic.
So what options are out there for somebody looking to get into the platform?
Well, there's the Ruger, which I personally opted for. I actually thought about buying a Mossberg. Sean, you got
Mossberg MVP.
Is
Patrol. That's what it is.
Okay, yeah, but Mossberg makes a Scout.
Do they?
They do. Which takes M14 mags or AR mags, which kind of I found a little attractive. The problem was when I went to the store and held the Scout rifle, I think it was a Cabela's actually, they had one on the shelf. I was underwhelmed with the fit and finish and how the bolt
nowadays it's just an
forward.
MVP Patrol with a full length rail, like full length over the action and then over there. That's all it is.
Yeah, they did make a Scout model, and then Savage makes a Scout as well. Barry, one of the guys at the club, he has one, and it I don't know. I've never been a big fan of Savage bolt action rifles like the centerfires. Mm-hmm. I've owned a couple and they shoot great.
They do.
But I don't know. The whole look and how it feels in my hand, that Savage kind of turns me off a little bit. There's something about that Mauser style extractor on a Ruger M77 that just kind of
gets you hard.
It makes you feel like a fucking man when you're rolling that bolt over. It's like get that Tim Allen going. But
how was that again? One more time.
But the Seiko Steyr. The Steyr Scout is the only commercial offering that was available when Jeff Cooper was around, when he was still with us. So and he wholeheartedly endorsed that one. He had a hand in designing it. Steyr said they would build it, and he went to see them, and he was involved from point A to point B all the way to the end of the development of that rifle, and it hit all of his high points. Like I don't know. I've looked at them, but they just don't do it for me like at all. Like there's a couple things that Jeff Cooper insisted on with the Steyr that I thought were just kind of completely useless. Like he's got a double detent on his mags on those ones where you can half cock the mag. so that you can roll the bolt back and forth and not pick up a round out of the magazine. And his idea behind that was, in some situations you can single load, right, and still have that full magazine that you could then click into place when you didn't have time to single load because now you were in trouble, right? He had a flush fitting magazine on the buttstock, so like the factory magazine would pop out and pop right in there, just like it did in the underneath the action, only in the buttstock. And there was actually room for 2 magazines in there. And the fore end had these 2 swivel things on, so the whole fore end the sides would flip out and down to form a bipod. And don't get me wrong,
it's beefy though.
It is. It's a lot beefier than you'd think. And I think that's actually why the weight got raised on that one, because Jeff Cooper built several rifles that were in that Scout concept idea. And he was a really big fan of the 660 and the 673 Remington.
Yeah,
so,
that kind of makes sense for sure.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know that he would approve of the Ruger, but I think it meets the spirit of it in that it's handy. It's in 308 detachable magazines. You can't single load this one, though. You can't drop a cartridge in the chamber and then close the bolt and shoot it. The extractor won't slip over the rim.
I thought that was
it
one
has
of the
to feed from the magazine. So
I thought that was one of the benefits of that that extractor system on the M77s, that it wasn't strictly a controlled round feed like the Mausers. I thought there was I don't know whether it's a weaker spring or just a different design in the claw where it engages on the rim or the shell or the groove, that it would actually slip over. Well, with a little more grunt. But you're saying that's not the case, John?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I've tried it. It didn't work. I did not try it with a hammer. So maybe it would with enough force, but
yeah.
Here,
I have been known to hammer actions open, but never closed.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Here's that Steyr Scout. Kurt.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
and like looking at the forehand, you can see on the front where it's so beefy.
Mm-hmm.
Because the front is essentially a bipod, the forehand.
Yeah,
right.
So you can see how it adds mass, but I don't know. I don't think anyone is a real big fan of this gun, right? Like I haven't met somebody who's diehard into that.
Well, and they're $3,000, right? Like I think
holy smokes,
the MSRP on them US is like $2,900, right? So you're looking at $4,000 or more for that thing in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So like that would be, you can buy a lot of rifle for $4,000 in my mind.
Yeah. Well, that Steyr Scout kind of reminds me of the ugly girl. Like she might be ugly, but God damn it, she's probably.
Well, you know what they say.
There's a chance she's pretty damn useful.
You know what they say about big girls?
What's that?
Blowjobs because they're hungry.
And we just alienated every.
Oh man.
Sorry, Kelly, if you're listening.
But name dropping, especially after you made a statement like that.
So we covered the Steyr Scout. We covered the Ruger gun sight Scout.
Yeah.
John's thrown it out there a couple times, the Mossberg Scout, but the one I have is this, the MVP Patrol.
Yeah. And
the difference with the Patrol is you have the rear sight on the barrel, as is, and then the Scout model, the only difference I can see is that, well, let me see if I can find a Scout one, but with the one I have, this is the exact rifle that I have, and it feeds from AR-10 and M1A M14 mags. Apparently, I've never got an M14 mag to fit properly in my gun, but I have got M14 or AR-10 P mags in. But I love this gun. I don't know why, but it's in 308. It's nice and compact, fits easy in the truck, takes detachable mags. The only thing it doesn't have is the fixed eye or the extended eye relief scope, right? So that was the. Here, let me see if I can get the Scout.
You know what? There is something to be said for a short, quick handling rifle. Like I said earlier about hunting coyotes a lot. especially sitting and calling, and they come busting in from the side, and they're 12 yards away, and there's multiples. It makes a huge difference. I mean, my preferred rifle for that kind of stuff is my heavy barreled 223 Ackley.
Yeah.
That thing's, and I've had many 243s before too, including a couple of heavy barrels that I just loved. But in in the mess, if that even qualifies, when it's quick, coyotes are kind of flying all over the place, and you need something quick. Man, it makes a hell of a difference.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
Rather than swinging that 24 to 27 inch barrel around, and damn thing weighs 12 pounds.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
Whereas like you get the MVP Patrol like I got with you don't even need a scope for this. You can put the irons on and you're good to go. Kurt, that's the rifle I have. But this is the difference. Well, that's a kind of a weird picture. But you can see the only difference being the full length rail.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
And then on the sides it's got the where you can put a flashlight or whatever on the little mini rails on the side of the stock there too.
Oh yeah.
But that's essentially it. Like
for night hunting coyotes.
Yeah, exactly. But
fellas, we need to take a trip to Australia to shoot kangaroos and
to where?
Cats. Australia.
Absolutely.
Where they spotlight kangaroos and probably cats and
kangaroos,
dingoes, and I don't know what all else. Yeah.
All that
protesters.
That's brave.
So yeah, you can picture spinning that thing around.
Yeah.
For trying to get a quick shot at a 43.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Spinning that thing around, like Kurt was saying, with a 30-inch tube on there, you're not going to get that thing around very quickly.
No.
As opposed to something like this. It's nice, short, and handy.
So that forward mount scope, you guys, or the forward mount sighting system, period. Benefits of that. It's just quicker target acquisition.
It's so easy to shoot with both eyes open. So you got full field of view. This is a 2 to 7, and even at 2 power, it's still very easy to shoot both eyes open. 7 power, not so much, but what's nice about it is how much you can see around you. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, for sure. I've only tried yours a couple of times, but I've done a lot of. When I started in archery, the kind of instinctive shooting, it's the same type of principle as far as I'm concerned. The little bit of shotgun that I've done, and just pissing around with 22s and pellet guns and things like that. For lack of a better term, the instinctive shooting. I think that, to me at least, the little bit that I've done with your rifles, John, that forward mount or that forward sighting system lends itself much better to a natural, this isn't the right way to put it, but natural point of aim, natural swing, natural
MPOA, Project Mabelsine.
Well, the one thing that's nice about the forward mounted Scout, the forward mounted Scout scope,
we're with you.
You can get that scope about a quarter of an inch lower to the action than you can if it was mounted on the action, right? Because you don't have to have it out of the way for that bolt handle. You've got lots of room. You can actually get in here and do stuff, right? Like, I mean, you've got lots of eye relief. You've got full access to the action. To if you have a shell jammed in there or something like that, you've got lots of room.
You can clear malfunctions
really quickly, right?
Yeah.
And then I used loophole rings, quick detach rings on mine, so I could pop the scope off really quickly
if it does zero
or whatever, right? But I've got the iron zeroed on this thing for 200, and I'm not even sure what the optics. It's point blank range. I think about 2.5 inches, maybe 3 inches high at 100. It's definitely a field application zero on the optic as opposed to a target, if that makes any sense. But it makes a difference. Like, all that stuff kind of, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
My only complaint is the magazines, to be honest with you, that thing takes. And I wish there was more aftermarket support for Ruger bottom metal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
so you mentioned...
and that brings me to my next point. The one thing I like about the Ruger and the 700 and that is that the action, when you're rolling the action, it's so tight and so snug that,
Yeah.
Whereas the Mossberg is kind of sloppy and loose.
A 700 is tight.
What?
A 700 is tight.
Well, comparative to the Mossberg.
Compared to the Mossberg, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
When you have that bolt all the way out of the receiver, essentially, it's you got some play there to move back and forth, and so but the one thing I like about it is when you really pick up a shell, you can really feel it, right? And you can really feel it seat into the chamber, and you're good to go. Whereas an Axis or something that's just pretty much straight back and good to go, sometimes you can't, right? You can't feel that, right? So there's that, but it goes bang every time. I haven't had a single issue where I've failed to pick up a round, but I did try it with those AIA 10 rounders.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be able to feed, and it doesn't. And that's the one time I couldn't get it to work.
Okay.
So
that's not cool.
So M14 mags as a preference for you, John, you don't find them a little bit clunky or you meaning if you didn't have to insert and rock them back like you do with the typical M1A platform, M14 platform insertion? You know what I'm getting at?
Well, I think just like any other magazine system, like it doesn't have to be a rock-in like the M14 is.
Yeah.
Like an M14 mag has a little tip in the front that you have to get on the op rod.
Right.
There's no reason why you couldn't slide it straight in like you would an AI mag.
Yeah, I suppose just the
tab
D10
is bigger. So you have to have a recess in the body of the bottom metal in order to accommodate for that extra tip that's on the back, right? I don't know. One disadvantage, I think, maybe to a double stack M14 style magazine is you still need to have some sort of a rail system that your bolt can go forward on. And in order to make true use of that double stack magazine, you're going to have some trouble getting that to seat in there. But I don't know.
Well, like the 700s have that anti-bind, or am I thinking it's on the wrong side? And it's just that's on the wrong side.
Well, your bolt lugs on your 700 still ride on a rail on either side, right?
For sure, but I was just thinking about the anti-bind slot in your bolt, but that's on the right side, and it's only a portion of the action. And
it's only at the back of the action as well, right?
Right, you are, Ken. Yeah. Yep.
It's not all the way through.
So
yeah, well, there you go, John. Develop something like that and make billions.
I could probably make tens of dollars.
I agree. It would be innovative, and you would be famous in some circles.
Well, the only reason why I haven't built a custom barreled rifle off a Ruger M77 is because of the lack of aftermarket support.
Yeah.
Like in order to buy, say, like a Macmillan A3 adjustable or something like that for a model 77, it'd be a custom order from Macmillan because it's not a stocking item for them.
Yep.
So you're looking at $1,300 to $1,500 US for that stock. Plus you have to somehow manufacture bottom metal that nobody's making right now to feed pick your mag system on that action, right? So that's another problem as well. I've played around with the idea of trying to make something, but I'm not bad with epoxy. I'm not so good with like metals.
Hey, Tim's got a decent question here.
He does.
He says, I'm late to the show. What distance are we looking at achieving with Sean's patrol? And what gun you have on the ladder? Well, you are way late, Tim.
We did address it. But
yeah, you'll have to go back and listen to the show.
Get it out there.
It's
Gunsight Scout. Ruger Gunsight Scout.
Can you read that? I don't know if you can. It's a Ruger Gunsight Scout Rifle, 16-inch barrel, 308. Takes AI mags and general all-around awesomeness.
Yeah. So in terms of distance, well, with that's okay. That's okay, Tim. The distance we're looking to achieve is minimum 400 yards. Right?
Oh no, I think that would be the extreme range.
Right.
The far
That's
end.
the top end.
A torso-sized target at
Yeah.
400.
Yeah,
right?
you want to be able to hit the vital zone on a 200-pound game animal, 2 or 4-legged, at 400 yards.
John's wife gave us
Yeah.
the other roll. But yeah, so I think we've beat that horse to death now. I think we're pretty
so.
good. You guys have any questions about the Scout platform?
Yeah, we've got 8 people watching live.
Yeah, all 8 of you.
Pretty silent out there.
Craziness.
If you
Don't be shy. We won't judge you.
No,
harshly.
We will, but not.
Well, if you guys are looking to get into the platform, check out our primary sponsor, EM Precision Rifles.
Yep.
I'm sure Shane would not mind. Shane and Steve would not mind building a Scout for you guys. So check them out.
Light bulb. No.
Yeah, exactly. Check them out. EM Precision. What's the website? EM Precision.
Yeah. EMPrifles.ca.
EMPrifles.ca. I'm gonna learn that.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
sort of
you probably
turn
should.
that right now.
But
EMPrifles.ca.
.ca.
Okay,
I've actually thought a few times it works. That link actually works. EMPrifles.ca.
amazing,
I've thought several times about building an M1 or an M14 pattern rifle into a Scout, but it's with our barrel limitations in Canada, it makes it somewhat problematic. But
Yeah.
no, it would be very easy to make one, chop a barrel to 18.5 or get an 18.5 inch barrel. It's sporter weight. You don't want to get like your big medium weight on there or nothing like that. And you get the forward optic, the Scout handguard, M14.ca.
and there are enough options out there for that too, isn't there?
Yeah. And then you'd be pretty much good to go. A nice GI fiberglass stock on there.
Yeah.
Detachable magazines, M14 mag, semi-automatic. I don't know how hard it would be to get that rifle to shoot. I would imagine if you started with a good quality barrel to start with, it wouldn't be that terribly difficult to do. Like they're not talking about, we're talking about what? 4 MOA?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Or 3 MOA at 400 yards? That wouldn't be terribly difficult, I don't think.
No. So, did Cooper specify anything in terms of ammunition? Like was it 147s, 150s, 175s?
Well, he played around with he thought the 308 was pretty much the best bang for your buck.
Yeah.
But
what type of bullet though?
He didn't really say. As long as the bullet was capable of taking game, right?
If I had to assume, it happens when you assume.
Yep.
I would say anything commercially available and or surplus, like a full metal jacket or military ball, would be acceptable, right? Again,
have you guys tried any of that Hertenberger?
Yep.
It's the 147 stuff, right? Through your Scout rifles.
Yep. That's what I was shooting out at your place. And
was it?
Paddles. That was my Mexican match, though. I wasn't shooting factory Hertenberger or factory assemble, I should say. It doesn't seem to have much problem in that 3-inch range with the Hertenberger factory stuff.
Right.
Once I went through and pulled all the bullets and equalized powder charges and equalized bullet, weights and stuff like that.
Took the ones out that didn't have any lead in them.
But I was hitting those. How big are those paddles hanging on the swing stage at your place at 400?
There's
are they 8 inches?
There's that square one is a 10-inch. The round one is 8, and then there's that little 4-inch guy.
Okay. Well, I don't think I was hitting the smallest one all that often, but the other 2 plates were not any trouble, and that was Hertenberger Mexican match. I called it.
Right. So that's a 2-minute target at that distance then.
Yeah. So, and that ain't bad. I think that was with the scope as well. That wasn't with irons.
Right. And you know what? I've had good luck with just the factory Hertenberger in my heavy barreled M305.
Okay.
That one that we built out of the IDF kit. I mean, that thing shoots great. The 168 Match King hand loads that I have for it shoot better. Like it's always around that 3/4 of an inch to 1.25 inches at 100. But I'll tell you that Hertenberger, the amount of times that I've tried it, grouped it at 100 yards, isn't far behind the 168 Match King hand loads.
Yeah.
So for me, at least that batch has been pretty good.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just flipping through the chapters of the book here, trying to see if I can find one on ammo. And according to Jeff Cooper, he liked the 150 grain Remington core locked, the Hornady 168 grain match ammo, and the Barnes 175 grain precision match in his Steyr Scout. Those were the 3 types of factor ammo he liked the best. So that gives you some indication of what kind of ammunition he was shooting or what he thought was acceptable. But the whole reason why you went 308 was so that you could shoot NATO spec ammunition as well, right? So
yeah, you bet.
You pick some up wherever, kind of thing, right? So
well, there you go. I think we beat the shit out of this one.
Yeah,
not bad for no budget. There's I'm just kind of looking around on the internet a little bit. There was this one from gunman.com, best scout rifles of 2020, and his
what was that website again, Kurt? Post it up in the chat.
How the hell do you do that? Give me a second. Gunman with 2 N's on man.com/scout rifles.
That might be his new website.
It might be his new website.
Richard
Man.
Right. I was wondering about that.
Spells his last name.
Okay, so his top pick is Steyr Scout. And then best budget option is Marlin 1894 or 1895, sorry, big bore, and then the Ruger Gunsight Scout, MVP, and M1A. So he's gone a little bit beyond the traditional sense of scout rifle, I guess, as you described.
Meet the gunman. His name is Josh Lewis.
It's not him.
It's not Richard Mann.
Oh,
sorry.
So yeah, there's some definitely some merit, I think, to something like a lever, a Marlin lever, because you can get some heavy hitting calibers that are nice and quick and everything. But I suppose it's like anything. It doesn't necessarily have to be a firm definition, other than providing a specific function or a function for a specific purpose, I guess, right?
That's right.
God damn it, you guys. We get into these things that I don't have, and you make me want to own this shit.
It's just
like
that's all.
It's like a fucking shotgun.
What you do is you go get a credit card in your wife's name.
Yeah.
And then wait. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
No. She has too many already.
Yeah, exactly.
Despite the fact that I'm not living with her, I'm still responsible for it.
Well, funnily enough, Wikipedia has actually got a pretty good write-up on the Scout rifle.
Yeah.
I was going to look at that, but I often
delve into that a little deeper. But yeah, they've got there's quite a few entries into the Scout rifle genre that are not mentioned in Wikipedia, but yeah.
Yeah, check it out. Check out the book Scout Rifle Study by Richard Mann with 2 N's.
Yeah, plugging that book pretty hard.
Do not Google Richard Mann with 1 N.
No,
because you'll probably
wind up with some dick
with a grinder site or something.
Oh God!
wind up with some dick.
Yeah, definitely don't Google Dick Man.
Dick in man? Wait,
but you put in ass man, you'll find John's neighbor.
You guys prefer a bolt versus lever in a scout rifle? Well, it's not what we prefer. If it's a lever, it's not a scout rifle, technically.
Well,
By definition.
it's funny, but in the chapter of this book, it goes into scout rifles of history, and the lever action was considered to be the first scout capable or scout style rifle. And like
for those who watch the new Jurassic Park, what's his name? Fucking Guardians of the Galaxy.
Chris Pratt. I know that it was a
Marlin
1894 big loop.
1895 GBL in 4570 in stainless with the forward optic,
and I do believe it was a Vortex Diamondback in the movie as well.
That he uses, that he says he can take down a Tyrannosaur with.
I don't believe him.
Reference.
Duh.
All the Tyrannosaurs you've run up against.
Yeah, it's like
they don't anymore.
It's not like it's a made up creature.
But
you'll find them outside a few bars in Regina, I'm sure.
Yeah.
On occasion.
That's right.
And
I actually personally think a scout rifle built off like a Winchester Model 94 would be kind of cool. There is an outfit in the States. I can't remember the name off the top of my head right now, but they have a forward scout, like a Picatinny rail that you drift out the rear sight, and then you put this adapter in the rear sight dovetail, and then there's a bolt that goes through the rail into there, and then into that one screw that you pull out right about the middle of the loading gate on the side. You put that in there, but it's a small rail. It's more meant for like a red dot sight than it is for like a forward scope. Although you could do the double ring beside each other.
Yeah.
The two rings right here and here to hold the scope in place if you wanted to on something like that. That would be kind of cool. Where it kind of falls apart, according to Jeff Cooper's definition of a scout rifle, is the detachable magazine, the ability to single load with the magazine cut off.
Right.
Stuff like that. So I don't know where that would fall. I think 30-30 would make a great scout rifle if you hot rodded it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe and if that's the case, then maybe you don't want an 1894.
I think a lever in like 458 would be amazing for a scout.
Or a 450 Marlin or something like
roughly,
that. Too, right?
It's a little faster, I believe, than a 308. I believe
a 458 SOCOM.
Yeah, I think more foot pounds.
More foot pounds for sure.
Energy coming through, but I don't know. I don't think the lever is the way to go. I think if you're going to deviate from the standard scout rifle concept, go to an AR-10. I think that would be like a short barreled AR-10, like or a non-restricted variant of like a Stag 10 or a BCL 102. Or something with a short barrel.
You're going to wind up so far out of the range of specs. So here's the problem, right? Like, are you trying to recreate the scout rifle itself on a different platform or a different mechanism, or are you trying to follow this spirit of what the scout rifle is actually supposed to do, and that it's a light, handy,
bring it
rifle.
More modern?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, traditional sense versus modernized versions and purposes.
But really, I think that would be the way to go, or like a short barreled M14 or M1A, like a SOCOM style. That would be killer.
Yeah,
I track that thing through the bush all the time.
No problem.
What was the old Sharps carbine?
It's M14, and it wasn't terrible to hunt with. Walking around the countryside with. In the forests.
Oh no.
So,
can you guys hear me, or are you just ignoring me?
No, we can. We just talked to you.
Yeah, because your opinion doesn't really matter that much.
Okay. Yeah. When I'm a couple hundred miles away from you, you sons of
bitches. Yeah, I know. By the time you get here, you'll be calmed down.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I gotta roll quickly. You guys keep going.
We'll continue without him.
How about the what the heck was it? The Sharps carbine, years and years and years ago. Was that not? Could you not classify that as a scout rifle before somebody actually attempted to put a definition to it?
You could. What kind of carbine was it again?
It's Sharps. Shiloh was it a Shiloh Sharps? Way back, Texas Rangers used to use it, right?
Is that like a falling block?
Yes, it would have been. You bet.
I think so. I got like Jeff Cooper. The reason why he liked the idea of a scout style rifle was because you had your foot mounted soldiers for the most part, the guys that went forward to go see. It was more important for them to see something and get back and report it than it was to take an enemy combatant
engage
fight. That makes any sense. And that was kind of where his whole idea behind this went. It was a tool of the trade for a certain type of individual. You know, the guy operating by himself. You didn't have a squad with you with like your machine gun, and you had your designated marksman, and you had your standard foot soldier with a bunch of different things. So yeah, like there's definitely an argument to be made that Sharps you're talking about was, by definition, a scout rifle at one time. Well, based on the technology of the time, it would have been one hell of a scout rifle. Yeah. Same with that lever gun that Tim mentioned. There's no reason why you couldn't call a lever gun a scout rifle, because the technology of the time, it was a pretty handy firearm, and it was quick to load extra shells in as you went, or get the next round in the chamber.
And to satisfy that sort of do all role. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Again, that was Jeff Cooper's kind of thing, is that he would allow that a scout rifle could be chambered in 243 if it was for a slight person, a young person, or a woman, right?
Yeah.
But that 308 was best. It was not a true scout rifle unless it was 308. But then he did come back later and say, well, a 708 wouldn't be bad either. Well, like he was very fluid in his definitions when he was, defining what a scout rifle should be. And he was always talking more about how it was used and what it was used for than the actual construction. Like he never went into, it had to be Remington 700, or it had to be a Mauser style controlled round. He didn't go into any of that stuff, because it was more of a philosophy on how would you utilize that tool to achieve a certain task, more than, the actual definitions of what the rifle is. And that's kind of how I've always kind of seen a scout rifle, is it's that theory of use as opposed to methodology, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah. I don't know. Makes you want one now, doesn't it, Kurt?
Kinda. Yep. Yeah. I have my short barreled M305, and I like that thing. And it's not as though we have any shit hit the fan situations where I feel the need to train that way or anything like that. And around here, we don't have like dangerous game, or it'd be a different thing if I was say a lineman out in the bush, or a surveyor or something like that, where not that you can do this really in Canada, but if there's things with large teeth that may want to chew on you on occasion while you're way out in the bush, definitely there'd be a deeper consideration for something like that for me. But for just handy shit and throw it in the truck just because I'm going for a drive, or you never know when you might encounter a skunk or some really dangerous thing like that. That short M305 is
that, like, for as far as like where we are in currently right now in Saskatchewan, or Western Canada, or even into Eastern Canada for that matter, a more handy firearm for practical throw in the truck day to day, unless it's a big game rifle season, would be a 223. Yeah. No, there's a
no question. Yeah.
There's no, for what you're going to use it for, actually use it for, a 223 is probably more than sufficient.
Absolutely. 223 with 55s and go.
Yeah. Yeah. Or even get a little fancy with it and throw something a little heavier in there. It doesn't really matter, right? As long as it shoots straight.
Yep.
And that's what you're looking for more than anything else is if you're going to need something like that behind the seat of the truck, you're going to want something like that that's going to be, suitable for Yotes, right? You're not going to be too concerned about moose or bears or what have you, right?
That reminds me, and we touched on it earlier too, about about farmers' use and all that kind of stuff. We had out at the farm several years ago. There were a bunch of hogs that got out of a neighbor's, like those nasty Russian wild hogs. And man, they bred like crazy, and they were all over the place. There was one fall. Dad took an old Parker Hale 243 that I had, and just carried it everywhere with him. He shot 15 of the damn things on different occasions, of course, just off the swather alone. He'd be going through a field swathing it, and all of a sudden this hog pops out, so gets out and takes a poke at it and carries on swathing. but a scout type rifle for stuff like that would be fantastic.
Yep. Well, one thing that I've, like, your standard length of pull is from you put the butt of the rifle in your elbow,
yeah,
and then where your finger naturally lays should be on the trigger, and that's what everybody considers to be your length of pull. Like, that's the measurement for you, right? On all my scout rifle, like with the scout rifle, my fingers naturally fall in front of the trigger group because I like the fact that it's a little bit more compact, right? Yeah. And I figure that kind of is more useful that way than
you don't have to get out around your clothing or anything like that and bring it back in. It's almost a straight angle up in, more or less, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? There's my precision rifles too. Most of them, I keep shorter as well. I just find it transitions a whole lot better for different positions. You got to fight with it just a little bit when you're in prone, especially unrushed prone.
Yeah,
just to get that right spot. But every other position, it's nicer, it seems.
Yeah,
same thing. I'm sure applies to a platform like that.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, that's all my contribution.
You're right. Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to find out more, the Scout Rifle study.
Wikipedia is not a bad place either, for that matter.
Yeah,
it's got some information there.
There's a lot of web content you can get into. You can dive into. Or if you have any questions, shoot us an email.
Yeah, more than happy to fill your head with thoughts and ideas and take you by the hand and lead you down the garden path. I'm reading the show notes from way back, and apparently upcoming federal election was a thing.
Oh, God. I think that's what started out the C-bomb segment.
Hey, e-petition E231415566
2341
is done today. I bet you it's done now already.
Probably.
What's the?
Oh, could be.
Apparently, there was 45,000 signatures that were unconfirmed.
Yeah.
Crazy.
2, 3, 4, 1. They apparently the CCFR bought up that.
What?
They bought up the web address, e2341.ca or .com or something.
Cool, Kurt. Where can we find you on the socials?
Me or us?
You.
I guess I'm Twisted Rooster. I think it's Twisted_Rooster on Instagram. Simply Kurt Rouse on Facebook. What else am I on? I don't know. Never check anything else.
Rooster@gunningaround.com.
Oh yeah, there's that too. Sorry.
That.
You're on the fuck book too, aren't you?
Yeah, you said that.
Yeah.
174,810 signatures.
There you go. John, where can we find you?
I am on where the hell am I? I'm on the gram. M14 Medic. I'm on the Facebook. Look for me at Gunning Around or on Facebook, I guess. You can find me there. Where else?
What are you on CGN? What's your handle?
Oh, Not So Rich Guy. That's a throwback.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Sean?
Me? I am on Instagram, gunning around. Check us out there. I'm posting just my shit right now, but if you guys want to throw shit up there, let me know. It's kind of the show / my personal one, so just bear with me.
Just change the name on his personal one.
Yeah, that's right. I've got enough accounts. So I'm on CGN is Heineken 44i. I got some stuff for sale, so check that out on there under the Equipment Exchange. On Facebook, Sean Heineman, and Sean at gunningaround.com. Twitter, I think I'm on Twitter too. I don't know what my handle is, but
You're on the tweeters?
yeah.
I'm not on the Twitters. I just didn't do that.
I'm there to engage all the antis. So there's that. I think
How
I'm
does that
Heineken
go?
44 or something on there. So yeah, check me out.
All right, we want to go through the TACOM stuff. We're going to TACOM. We want to.
Well, I don't have the ad and show notes in front of me, but we're going to TACOM September 9th to 13th, I think.
11th to 13th.
11th to 13th. We'll be there the 9th or 10th. It gets set up, but TACOM, Canadian Program Podcasters Network, will all be there. So that includes
The
us.
Canadian Program Podcasters Network will be in attendance at TACOM 2020. Your favorite podcasts will be on hand throughout the show to make sure you stop by the booth to meet your favorites and pick up some swag. Or drop by while we do our special live broadcast where we will be talking to event organizers, guest speakers, and vendors about all their new and must-have products. You can see details for the show at www.tacom, that's 2 C's, Canada.com, and stay tuned for ticket release details.
Oh, you were so good, and then you fumbled that last word.
Can we do a mulligan on that one?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, no chance.
Done. Go.
Podcasts will be CPP, both of them, Slamfire Radio, the CCFR, New Shooter Canada,
New Shooter Canada. I'm Ron Burgundy.
the Foggy Bottom Boys. No, that's not right.
Yeah, or whatever they're. Damn boys there out there, don't you know there once?
The Newfoundland Air Boys.
Yeah, Newfoundland there, boys there, Screech there, drinking motherfuckers there.
Wow, then.
Some screech drinking motherfuckers there.
Moving along.
It might be us.
A lot of it.
We will be the Screech drinking motherfuckers. You bring a bottle of Screech, we will drink it. Yeah, we're gonna be doing some live stuff. Been talking to some guys to try and line it up at the show so we can do some live Facebook Live from the phones, from the e-phones.
Yes.
We'll do that. Yeah, it'll be cool. We still haven't posted a link on the website yet to buy tickets, but tickets are available now. So if you go buy tickets, I'm going to disclose this. If you buy tickets through our link, we get $1.
Yeah.
Because we have to pay for hydro and Wi-Fi.
We do?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's like $1 million.
What?
Yeah, it's so much. So,
That's crazy.
but good news is we're all sharing a
booth.
with all the other
Yeah,
pods.
we're
so,
hot bunking with the pods. So
but that
Maybe we should register with the
we don't
Liberal
get paid.
government as child soldiers. would we get subsidized?
Can we bring our kids for slave labor? I'll pile into the truck. They'll
That's
just be
right.
underneath
That's
the
right.
tonneau in the back of the Dodge. And
we'll put a mattress back there. They'll be fine.
by mattress, you mean like those blue sleeping pads?
That's
that-
right. By that I mean that 1.5 inch styrofoam you put on the outside of your house.
Yeah, rigid foam.
Man, that stuff is handy.
Yeah, that's right.
Or it'll be that R16 bad fiberglass that's like not even coated.
Oh,
You know,
my
down a
goodness.
bitch, shut up. Yeah, check us out there. We'll be there. Come say hi. We're still gonna have an after party somewhere.
Somewhere.
I don't know. Might just be going to what's the liquor store there that it's called?
I have
What's
no
it
idea.
called? Ontario Tim, what's the liquor store called?
If you're still there,
In Ontario.
Liquor commission. or
There's a name
something,
for
isn't
it. I can't remember.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we're gonna be loading up there and then probably going back to the room or something. So
yeah.
because it's cheap, because we're poor.
to get loaded up there.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Well, fuck.
Jeez.
That's right.
I don't do drool or barf.
Oh,
Okay, you guys.
definitely. LCBO. There you go.
There it is.
LCBO. There we
LCBO.
go. There we go.
We're gonna go there and load up on Screech and Kraken, and not feel feelings anymore.
That's right. That's right.
Push them all down.
I'm Ron Burgundy. Cool. I think that's it.
All right, let's put this out of its misery.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a lot. We did not say the C word.
Not even once.
So
I'm tempted, but no.
congrats, guys. Before we go, check out emprifles.ca. Hit up Shane or Steve for any of their products. Get them to build you your rig so you can reach out very far and touch stuff. So
You betcha.
check them out, emprifles.ca. Any more shout outs? It's only been recorded our last, so
Yeah, I think pretty much. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for me.
shout out to Random Dave for buying my Tavor.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy. That's in the mail. So yeah.
Good
We'll
deal.
talk to you next week.
No, just Danny Joe for the music that
Yeah,
sticks in my
yeah.
head every damn week.
Got me a good gun, a really big gun.
Those are not the lyrics, man. Have you even
And cut.
That's what we did last. That's what I just did for the last episode. It's great. Anyway,
All right. See you, fellas.
thanks, guys.
See ya.
Later.